Well, hello, Pipe community. This is Ethan, Parsimonious Piper, and today I've got with me Piper Ken. Ken, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
What you smoking there?
Well, I've got a estate pipe that I got from Marty Pulver at Pulver's Briars, and it's actually an artisan pipe, but whoever made it, they didn't put any markings on it or anything except for a little crystal at the top. But it's a good little smoker. And in it, I've got some Balkan Sassini.
A good blend, a rather popular one. Well, this is a Gold Coast Lavat. I have got some Four Aces Turkish blend. Now, Four Aces, a lot of people consider that to be a roll your own brand. This is mostly Turkish, from what I understand. It's got some Virginia and Burley in it. It's one that Paul at Papa Bear's Nook, little sample that he sent me. It's actually not bad. It's a little one-dimensional, but not bad. It doesn't have the complexity of that Balkan Sassieni. That stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, this is actually a sample that I got one back in the winter from John at Pipes and Strings and Things. And I'm just now getting around to sampling it. It's actually my first venture into Balkan blends.
It's a pretty good venture. That's a pretty decent blend.
Yeah, it's a good little smoke. It's not the Latake is not. It's not a lat bomb by any means. It blends real well. The Orientals and Virginias, it all blends real well.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you do.
Well, I live in Clendenin, West Virginia, which is about 30-minute drive to Charleston, somewhere in there, 15, 20 minutes. I've been here all my life. I grew up I was actually born in Beckley and lived in St. Albans, which is a little south of Charleston. Got married and moved to Clendenin, and I've been here ever since. I work for the state. I've been with the state government for 18 years. Right now, I am a director for a unit in the Bureau of Public Health called Maternal, Child, and Family Health. They deal with pregnancy and stuff like that through Title V grant money. And my unit does all of the front end stuff, the data entry and all that.
I was afraid you were going to say the DMV, and then we were going to have to cut off the interview.
No. I wouldn't work for them. Sorry. And also on the weekends, I'm a weekend merchandiser for Coca-Cola. I go into the stores, go to the back room, pull the stock out, fill the shelves, and put it back. So I stay pretty busy 7 days a week.
Boy. Now, you're relatively new as a presenter on the YTPC, but how long have you been smoking a pipe?
Well, actually, this is my second rodeo pipe smoking. Back when I was going to college at Marshall and the state back late 80s, I started smoking, and I smoked both a pipe and smoked cigars. Mainly the cigars when I went to Marshall. I would buy Don Tomas Citros number 3s, Maduro leaf. And one cigar would last for half the trip down to school, and the other half would last on the way back. I mainly got into pipe smoking from my brother-in-law. He always smoked Borkum Riff whiskey flavor. And every time I came to visit, he was always sitting in his easy chair with his pipe going. And I really liked the smell of Borkum Riff. And when he passed away, my sister gave me all of his pipes. So I was a little young when I first started watching him. And basically, I just learned from watching him. I didn't really know what I was doing at first, but I would watch him how he'd load it, how he loaded his pipe, how he'd light it, and I just kind of followed his lead. Um, when he passed away and I got his pipes, then I started getting into it. And
Do you
I
still
didn't
have
know
his pipes?
anything about it. I know when his daughter got old enough, she asked me if she could have him back as something to remember him by.
Sure.
So I gave him back to her. I had a bunch of pipes and I had them boxed up. And when I got in the flood in 2016, I lost all of them. So I hadn't smoked any of them, but they were packed up. But there was so much mud and stuff and everything that there's just no way to save them at all. But when I started back then, I could go to Rite Aid and get everything I needed. I'd get Graybo pipes off the rack.
Right.
Get Borkum Riff was, all the tobaccos were easy to get, and that was pretty much, I just picked that up and started smoking that. I had some Graybos that I bought. I had a really nice meerschaum that I bought when I was going to school in Huntington, and I lost it too. I did get one back recently though, so I do have a mirror now.
Nice.
And then I did a little bit of experimenting with blending. I had my own blend that I kind of went back and forth between that blend and Borkum Riff, and it was a cherry vanilla mix that I had come up with. You could get the bulk bags of different tobaccos for next to nothing back then. So I bought several Tupperware tubs and filled them up and experimented mixing it up till I found something that I liked and went back and forth between those two.
Well, that leads me very naturally into the next question. So you started out smoking over-the-counter aromatics. What do you smoke now?
I've got a few blends from my local tobacconists that are aromatics that I really like, and it's their versions of 1Q and RLP6, and I think MV1000 is the other one. I've smoked mainly aromatics just because my wife really doesn't like the pipe smoking, and I figure if I'm around somebody, I might as well do an aromatic so that everybody likes the smell. I've recently been getting into some English. I've done some Maltese Falcon recently. I've done some Seattle Pipe Club, Mississippi River, Plum Pudding. I've got some other blends that I haven't opened yet that are next to be cracked on my list. And one is Boswell's Railroad Station, and the other one is Boswell's Countryside. I've got a couple of M4 Virginias I want to open. And I've got a tin of Black Locust to open up, and I got a small batch of the Red Virginia to open. So I got a list to go. I just haven't been there yet.
Well, it does sound quite like you're branching out quite a bit there.
I'm trying to adjust my palate and see what I like and what I don't like. It's been a long time since I was smoking before, and like I said, I really wasn't aware of all the other tobaccos. So now I'm kind of expanding my horizons to see what I like and what I don't.
Yeah. Well, when there were so many Codger blends available at every drugstore and grocery store, it would be really easy if you find something like a Captain Black blend or one of the Borkum Riffs that you like. Those things used to be available everywhere. You wouldn't necessarily discover that there was anything else because those are good enough. If I lived out in the middle of nowhere and Carter Hall was the only thing available, I'd be perfectly happy. I just would.
Yeah, I like Carter Hall myself. When I first started back, that was one of the first blends I went to. That was right before they discontinued the pouches. So I had several pouches of that and a couple of pouches of Prince Albert, and I went back and forth between those. I have found though that I just can't handle the Captain Black. I don't know if it's because of all the glycol and stuff in it,
I think they
or
burn
what
hot.
it is, but yeah, it burns really, really hot. And I've dried them. Anything I can do, tried to mix it, and I mean, I know it's a good blend and everybody buys it, but I can't. That's one of those I can't handle.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not as so much a fan of the old Codger aromatics as I am of the more burley based blends, the Prince Albert, Sir Walter Raleigh, Carter Hall. Those have a topping to them, but they're not wet aromatics.
Yeah, I like the Walter Raleigh too. It's like you said, it's not overpowering. It's not really, there's not a whole lot of aroma to it, but it's one of those blends. If you're doing a lot of yard work, either that or Carter Hall, throw it in the pipe and take off with it.
Yep, Carter Hall. I'll put a pouch of that in my back pocket and just top off a cob repeatedly while I'm cutting the grass. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it is. That's what I used to do. I'd fill up the cob full of Carter Hall and just take off with it.
Yeah. Now it's funny you mentioned room note because with rare exceptions, my wife doesn't allow me to smoke anything except aromatics in the house. And I get tickled by guys like Sylvia, the Vintage Pipes Nightmares, who says things like room note, who cares? Well,
yeah.
I get his point, but my wife cares.
Yeah, I can't smoke in the house.
So I smoke everything I like outside the house.
Yeah, I do too. My wife doesn't like it, but she's also got a health condition that she can't be around smoke, even cigarette smoke. So that's the other reason that she doesn't like me smoking that, and I wouldn't do it anyway, just for that reason.
Sure.
But so I'm pretty much one of those good weather kind of smokers. If the sun's out and it's fairly warm, I'll smoke. In fact, since the weather's gotten warmer, I've actually gone through 6 of my 9 jars that I had of tobacco jarred up just because of the better, warmer weather and more opportunities to smoke.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a couple of times, you alluded to having started smoking a pipe back in college and then coming back to it. So when did you come back to it?
It's been a little over, probably about 1.5 years or so, right before I started presenting. And I kind of got the bug again. We went to Tennessee, and of course, you go to Gatlinburg, you got to go into Gatlinburg earlier.
Absolutely.
And I walked in there, and all the aromas of the tobaccos and all the pipes and stuff, it just started to bug again. So when I got back, I looked online and I actually found a starter kit, pipe kit, and went from there. It was made by Scott, and it was a pouch, a pipe, tamper, pipe cleaners, everything you need to get started. And I got that, and then I went to the smoke shop and bought Carter Hall and went from there.
There you go. Yeah, the Gatlinburg leaders. Go ahead.
Then the PAD and the TAD took over, and now I've got 20 pipes, and I can't count how many tins of tobacco I've got. So,
well, pipes. Do you have a favorite shape or a favorite maker?
I have a lot of Missouri Meerschaums. When I started back, they just had put out a 7-day sampler.
Oh yeah.
For Thanksgiving that year, so I grabbed one of those, and I think along the line I had picked up a couple of Pride pipes and a couple of Legends. Now that I've gotten the collection in, I like pipes with a bigger bowl, like an apple shape, bulldog shape. I have two country gentlemen and one diplomat that I really like from Missouri Meerschaum. And I've got several pipes like this one with a fairly bigger bowl. That way it fits my hand better, and I can kind of regulate what I put in it by, one pinch for 10 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, and go from there.
Yeah.
But I've still got a good sized pipe in my hand that, it feels pretty substantial in my hand. I don't really like them really heavy either, because especially if I'm driving, I do a lot of clenching.
You say you've got a bunch of Cobbs. I happen to love Cobbs. Do you prefer the smooth finish, or do you like them naked and rough?
I have a couple of the prides are naked. The rest of them are the smooth finish. I probably got a half a dozen legends, a couple of country gentlemen, and a diplomat, and then my two prides. I like the pride. It seems like the naked pipes smoke a little cooler than the other ones. I don't know if it's because of the plaster and the finish on it kind of blocks the heat. I don't know, but it seems to me like the naked ones burn a little cooler.
I know a lot of people think so. I'm not sure. I like the naked ones better because I like the texture. I love that feel of the open cob in your hand. Unfortunately, it's hard to get very many unfinished cobs. Scott down at aristocob.com actually stocks a ton of them, but due to family things, his store's been down for a while. So probably the biggest source of unfinished cobs is unavailable right now. Hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, he said the last video I saw from him, he said he'd gotten his new house and stuff, and things were getting kind of squared away, and he was going to probably be able to open it back up soon. So I'm with you. I hope he does too.
Yeah,
it's a good source.
Well, and just a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, I did a lot of looking on his videos when I first started back with the cobs, and went through all of his videos about cob smoking to get as much information as I could from it.
Well, the great thing about learning to smoke a cob in particular from his videos, he did not overcomplicate things. Everything, I mean, he just made it simple.
Exactly.
And I liked that because when I was first trying to figure this whole thing out, I was making it way too complicated. And his videos definitely helped me especially with smoking cobs. Great stuff.
Yeah, I gained a lot from YouTube community when I started back again. I watched a lot of matches, John Harden stuff. I watched a lot of Chris Mutton Chop Piper stuff when I was getting back in, and Mutton Chop's got a great series on pipe smoking and how to start, and I learned more from watching that than I did from anything else. And of course, it's like anything else. It's a learning experience. You have to find what works for you. I've been back in it pretty heavy now for about a year, and I'm finally getting to where I've got the packing down that works for me, and I can use to keep it lit. So it's been an experience, but I love it. It's enjoyable.
Now you mentioned matches and Mutton Chop. What got you into the YTPC as a viewer? Were they your gateway in?
Pretty much. When I start something new, if I really don't know how to do it, I'll start Googling. And I Googled pipe smoking, and their videos started coming up. And I started watching them, and it just kind of went from there. And then I started getting the bug about presenting, I don't know, probably after looking at everything, maybe 3 or 4 months. And he was Pitts St. David's Pipes.
Yeah.
Dave is one of the ones who encouraged me to present. And so I did my first video. He was my first subscriber. And then I found Pat, Paladin Piper, and I had commented on one of his videos and told him that I was a new presenter. And just like everybody else in the YTPC, he was generous enough. He did a VR for me and had people come and subscribe to my channel.
Yeah.
So I'm up to about 130, 135 subscribers now. And it's been about a little over a year, probably about 14 months since I started.
It's funny you mentioned Pat. Pat was one of, I think he was the second YTPC channel that I subbed to after John, the bearded Welshman. And he was a big encouragement. He's just an all around fantastic guy.
Yeah. And he's so generous. I got a package from him out of the blue.
Yeah.
I had been commenting on his videos and he said, give me your contact information. So I gave him my address, and about 2-3 days later, I got an email back from him and he said, there's a package coming in the mail. So I opened it up and it's a huge box about like this. And it's got 6 different tins of tobacco in it and a Medico Cavalier pipe.
It had to be a Medico, right?
Oh yeah, couldn't be anything else.
Yeah, he is one of the just most wonderful guys on the whole community.
There's so many out there too that they're in the community. I mean, there's probably some I haven't even subscribed to because I haven't found them yet. But I don't know if you're the same way, but I've found that by being on here for about a little over a year, there's certain presenters that you kind of cling to, that you kind of follow more than the others.
Well, I was going to ask you. I know that my channel has to be your favorite at least until the end of the interview. But what are some of your other favorite channels?
I watch Doug Curmudgeon Piper, Paladin Piper. Let's see, Mark Welsh Piper, Michigan Piper, Doug, Northwest Pipe Smoker. Let's see, Jason. Can't think of his Northwest Piper, I think.
Yeah, NW
Northwest
Piper.
Yeah, NW Piper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, Pipe Monkey Gary. I watched a lot of Lester's stuff, and I got to commend him for what he's doing now to go over and do volunteer work for the Ukraine. That I got to commend him for that.
Yeah, he's a good chap.
And Rolling the Dragon. Let's see. There's a couple of other ones too from over there. I think Big Smoke. He hasn't been on for very long, but I subscribe to him.
He's a neat guy.
Yeah, he's got pretty good content in his stuff too. And that's the thing about the YTPC is it's an international community. I mean, I've got friends now overseas that I never thought about even having. And you can get pictures. They'll send you videos and show you stuff over there, so you can see scenery that you may never be able to see in your life.
Yeah, I absolutely love some of those videos. Some of the guys like Shearer, the footage that he gets there in Scotland, and there are other guys that do that too. But it's wonderful getting.
Shearer's footage that he did of William Wallace Memorial, that was awesome.
Yeah.
He was talking about how many steps you have to climb to get up in it, and I'd probably never be able to get up the steps to go up there. I think he said it's 200 and some steps he had to climb to get to the top.
Yeah, my knees would give out after about the first 25.
Yeah, I'd probably do better scaling the wall than I would climbing the steps. Lester is another one. Peddling Piper. I follow his stuff a lot too. And Doc Hatfield.
Yeah, Peddling Piper always makes me hungry though, because he's always out there showing us those trout and salmon, whatever. Mostly trout, I think, that he's catching.
Yeah, he can slay some trout now. He got some good pictures.
Yeah.
Onion is another one that I watch all the time. 2 a.m. Pipe on the Patio.
He's awesome.
And I watch Glass every once in a while when he comes on. And Wade. I watch Wade sometimes too. He's got a lot of trouble with his folks going on right now.
Oh yeah, Bass Piper.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the community has just got so many great guys in it. And nice and good presenters coming on all the time, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like it's growing a lot. I don't like the cancel culture stuff that's going on right now towards our community though. It seems like they're picking on everybody that's trying to do something decent and nice and letting everybody else go.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of us have gone ahead and already synced our channels over to Rumble, and I had one viewer remind me that I really ought to start introducing my videos, instead of saying YTPC, to say something like online pipe community or just pipe community, simply because the YT is not being so friendly to us right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm going to do a quick, it'll only take about 2 or 3 minutes, a quick 2 or 3 minute video just to show everybody how simple it is to sync your Rumble channel back to YouTube. They've got this automatic sync button, and you just give it the starting date. I gave it a date a week before my very first video, and in a couple of weeks, they've sucked all of my videos over there. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
I talked to Bass Piper Wade about that, and he said it's really simple.
It is.
He said it didn't take very long at all.
Yeah, I think somebody just needs to show everybody how easy it is, because I would hate for people to just quit making videos because they don't want to move to a new platform, when Rumble has made it really easy to move over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to probably do that myself.
Their platform isn't as mature, and whether you use the website or their app, it's not as user friendly necessarily as the YouTube web interface and app are yet. It'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, once it starts gaining approval and people start using it more, they'll adjust it.
I think they will. All right, we're approaching the 30-minute mark, and I am sweating to death out here. Let me ask you my couple of wind down questions. What keeps you here? What keeps you interested in watching and making videos in this community?
I think the friendships that I've built from being on here, talking back and forth, whether it's just comments or emails, the content, it gives me an opportunity to when other people do tobacco reviews, it gives me an opportunity firsthand to start determine whether I want to smoke that blend or not. It's just enjoyable to me to be able to have a release point from everyday life. I just come on. If I want to do a video, I'll do a video. I want to watch 3 or 4, I'll watch 3 or 4. I just love the generosity of the community, the sense of community that it actually has. Everybody is friendly to everybody else. Nobody wants to, stab anybody in the back. Everybody's all working together.
Mhm.
Everybody offers advice. I know Corvette Jim's gone through a whole lot here lately, and just
Yeah.
the community giving him words of encouragement and supporting him. I'm sure that means more to him than anything else.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. Every time I ask that question, I get some variation of the same answer. But I want to keep asking that question because I want people who see these interviews to really understand just how much people enjoy the community. If this is the first video that you watch or one of the early ones, I want you to know that's really that's what makes this community the people. It really is. You're not just a hunting channel or a gun channel. It's people channels, and that's just that's really what makes it. So, my last question for you. You got any parting words for our viewers?
I love the community, whether we stay on here, whether we go somewhere else. The bond that we all have, I can't see myself being anywhere else. And as far as pipe smoking, yes, it's enjoyable to me, but it's also a great way to reduce stress, relax. If I've had a hard day, I can load up a pipe, go outside, sit on the patio, and fire it up, and just everything's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the community. I love pipe smoking. I know we kind of get a bad rap because we're, oh, you're smoking, but there's more to it than that. It's not like picking up a cigarette and lighting it and going. There's more to it than it's more like an art form rather than just picking up a cigarette and smoking it.
Yeah, it is. It most definitely is. Well, Ken, I have thoroughly enjoyed the chance to chat with you. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time out of what I know is going to be a busy day for you. I'll tell our viewers that the same thing I tell them every time, guys. Light something you like. Enjoy your afternoon.